Hey guys, welcome back to the daily crypto market update. There is some news around a Bitcoin OG original gangster holding at least 80,000 Bitcoin, which is a crazy amount of money. Woke up after 14 plus years of dormancy. Now, there is no way to know who this is, but it's interesting the timeline and how old these coins are, and that they're moving it out in chunks, like really big chunks, 10K, 10K, 10K. Now, this is spooking the market because usually when big amounts of Bitcoin is moved, especially from old wallets, people start to draw conclusions before knowing what's happening. And most people are freaking out because they think that whoever owns all this Bitcoin is going to be selling it. That's my personal thought as to why the market is panicking. That's one reason why. We're going to look at the charts in a minute. Another reason why markets are panicking is because once we have a little bit of a move down, then everyone starts to get liquidated, especially all of their leveraged longs. Bitcoin and Ethereum only had $100 million liquidated. In total, only 178 million liquidated in longs. The total 24-hour rect is only 218. I say only because I want you to see this. This is a really small amount compared to some really terrible times that we've seen. This is like normal. And another thing to consider is that it is the 4th of July in the United States. So just something else. Now, there is some other news. President Trump has officially signed the One Big Beautiful Bill. Literally just signed it on 4th of July. Like it or hate it, it's signed. So this should mean a lot of things, but mostly that prices go up, that more spending, more money is going to be printed by the government, which means that assets will go up, that Bitcoin and crypto should go up as well. And you should also keep this in mind. Coin Bureau posted this news about Crypto Week. So this is July 14th to 18th. And the United States, just read this. The United States House Committee on Financial Services. This isn't Coin Bureau's post. This is actually the United States posting this. Congress has officially dubbed July 14th to 18th as Crypto Week. Okay, so the House Republicans will take up 3 landmark bills: the Clarity Act, Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, and the Genius Act for stablecoins. So yes, I know that there's a little bit of a spook out happening right now with coins moving. Yes, the market is reacting negatively, which it always overreacts. But guys, there is some amazing news that is happening. Now, with that said, is this buy the rumor, sell the news? That's a great question. And we actually need to go over to BTC to check out a couple of things first. And the first thing is what you're obviously wondering about. Okay, Aaron, where's the bull flag? What happened? Well, my live stream with Des last night on the Coin Bureau trading channel, we talked about the fact that Bitcoin did break above resistance and then it fell back down. Unfortunately, I didn't think it would fall this far. I was expecting it to bounce and to go up higher. So right now, our bull flag setup seems to be broken or it failed, which is possible. And I don't want to say anything like I told you so. I just want to say that these breakouts are possible because that was literally our story back over here in 2024. Over and over, we saw so many failed breakouts, like right over here and here. Even right here was a failed breakout, and it went a lot lower. Now, I don't want to see it go lower. One interesting thing that I will share, and this is not my analysis, this is Dez's, but he was suspecting that Bitcoin is putting in an inverted head and shoulders. Now, I personally don't like the shape of this. It's possible, but it's really ugly. The neckline is all like jagged and stuff, like Frankenstein. But these two levels right here, confirming the neckline, it is interesting, but we can't cherry pick. We have to pick the low, or rather in this case, the high. But we do have a left shoulder ahead. So we could see a drop down here to 101 if the bull flag is failed and we see BTC drop lower. There is that target of 97K, especially if this is a faked breakout. meaning that we would see this instead in about 13 or now like 11 days. It just depends. I don't know. I don't know the future, but I can only do my best to make sense of what I'm seeing and to come up with a couple of ideas. So again, if this is a failed breakout, which it appears to be because closing down below resistance confirms it as failed, then we're going to see what happens next. I would love to see a head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. That would be amazing. But that means the price has to fall more. I don't know if the market really wants to see that. I would much rather have the price go back above and then push up higher. That would be a much easier, gentler way to finish out this bull flag. The other thing to keep in mind too is, again, I don't share everything with you guys here on YouTube, but everyone in the club knows what I'm talking about. So in the Better Traders Club, I've been letting you guys know about this on YouTube every once in a while, but the stop loss setting alerts started firing yesterday, about an hour, sorry, only about 24 hours from now. It's currently 9:04 a.m. on Saturday, but yesterday, Friday, it started firing at 10:30 a.m. And then it fired again at 4:30 p.m., 7:30, and then 9:30. Now, when we start to see this flash over and over, I don't tell you guys here on YouTube or even on X what's happening, but I do make a point of having these alerts sent over here to Discord on purpose. So we can see when those alerts started firing. We're going to go over here to the 30-minute time frame, actually back over here. So unfortunately, we had a nice pierce right here at 5:30, and then it broke. But you can see how well the price was previously respecting resistance right here, which is interesting. Now, that's just weird. It's just the drawing. It's not actually a support line. Now, what'll be interesting to see today is if the price of Bitcoin can actually break back above resistance. And if it can, then we're seeing something different and new. But because it broke resistance, there's a chance that it comes up to test and it loses it and it might go lower, especially going into the weekend. I know, not the best news that you want on the 4th of July. Yes, we do have a TBO close long, just like back over here. And I want to say a reminder about these. These tell us that this is a reminder. If you're in an open long position and you haven't taken out any profits yet, take out some, not at the panic drop, but at the push back up to the TBO fast line right there. So same thing's happening right here. So there's a chance that we could see BTC actually go back up. Just saying. So we're just getting a short-term pullback and we are approaching pretty serious resistance and we are working our way up to our all-time high of 112K. So don't get too discouraged or upset just yet. One other thing is that the price of BTC also ran into this previous high back over here at 109. That was the previous all-time high, and it's pretty interesting to note. Actually, let me turn off this and this, that the price literally closed at it and opened right at it on Thursday and Friday. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to keep an eye on this weekend. Other things to keep in mind as well, even though it felt disastrous, volume did not really match up to the fear, which is good. If this was a huge spike in volume on the selling, then I'd be more concerned that the selling could last longer. Because if there's volume to support a move to the upside or to the downside, typically it means that move has momentum. Now we still have quote unquote momentum happening with on balance volume, and we are still above historical resistance, I guess you could say over here. We haven't yet reached the peak, which is back here in March 2024, but still it's actually holding up well, which is a good sign. RSI is not yet overbought. However, it is making lower highs. Again, these are all signs of like, okay, the market is trying to push higher. And in regards to our indicator, the TBO, the best thing I can tell you is that the slow line is continuing to slowly move upward, which is great. We want to see this continue to curl up. But if this falls back down again, that's going to put a dent in this and it'll probably flatten out. But we want to see it continue to move up higher. Now, if you remember from earlier in the week, I was sharing on the weekly time frame that there was a TBT bearish divergence forming. That's not there anymore. We still have 2 days left. It could still appear. I don't want to see that happen because basically it's PTSD. I'm going to be expecting this kind of a move. And notice the date This is June 10th. So we're not too far removed from June 10th right now on this weekly candle. So there is a possibility that we do chop. All right, let's keep going. Ethereum, of course, is going to follow whatever Bitcoin does. It fell back about 3% yesterday, so a little bit more than BTC. It fell back into the cloud. Volume, again, doesn't really support the fear of the move. On-balance volume did cross and close above on Thursday, but Friday, it went back down. It's okay. It is what it is. The one thing that, again, that's positive is that this once strongly pointing or downward pointing TBO slow line is actually starting to ease up just a little bit. I'm not going to say it's bullish yet, but it is starting to slow down this downward trajectory, which is positive because the moment this starts to go flat and start to curl upward, that will be reflecting a very positive move to come for Ethereum. It'll show bullish building strength. Bitcoin dominance increased on the drop, which is to be expected. So there's still strong demand for Bitcoin. That's normal. And we've seen all of these lower wicks inside of the daily TBO cloud. And that's important because when we get more of these wicks, it shows that there's weakness in quote unquote price action, even though this is a percentage. The slow line's still pointing up a lot on the weekly. This is the most bullish chart I've ever seen. We're still strong bullish, even on RSI above 70. Like there's nothing really stopping this train. The only thing is on the 4-hour, I've seen a little bit of chop, but this is just the 4-hour. I'm not really worried about it. It's still a really bullish chart. Stablecoin dominance, on Thursday, it dropped right down to support. And you remember yesterday's video, I was getting excited seeing yesterday's candle right here, starting with an inverse of one of these, a TBO open short. Now, I said in the video, we can't jump to conclusions until the candle closes. And this is why it actually popped up about 2%, reflecting fear growing in the market because of the pullback. This could be a pivot low, basically our higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. It could continue to go up, which would mean that it's basically the bull flag playing out. But I really just want to skip the whole going lower. I would much rather see it fall down and continue to go lower. I don't know about you. Where am I? Oh, perfect. Okay. Now it's time to talk about some more exciting and fun stuff. And that is to celebrate the 4th of July sale. The better traders, we're having a 4th of July sale. Did I just say the same thing twice? I probably did because I'm switching tabs and I don't have my cool button pushing thing like I do in my office. I'm just here at home filming. But anyway, point being, 4th of July sale is starting now, which is great. You can save up to $750 on our advanced courses, whether it's Mastering Passive Income or Advanced Passive Trading course or Bot Trading course, or the Smarter Trader course. Both of these are awesome. And there's also the 15 Minutes to Financial Freedom course. Maybe you're not ready to jump to that level, that tier of the advanced courses, which they go pretty deep. But all three of our courses come with one-on-one coaching. They come with access to the Better Traders Club. But one thing that's cool about the Mastering Passive Income and Smarter Trader courses is that both of these come with a 3-month trial of the pro tier of the Better Traders Club, which is great because it includes everything, including the TBO Pro, the DCA Pro, DCA Backtester Pro, TBT Divergence Indicator. Like there's a lot of stuff that's available in the Pro tier. So I just want to remind you guys, the 4th of July sale is on right now. All right, let's get into the rest of today's charts. So today's picks. Bitcoin Cash is actually still decent. Look, what do we have? What do we have right here? That's so interesting. Look, wait, hold on. Is this a pullback down to the TBO fast line? I mean, right here? Yes. So this is our TBO springboard bounce. We've seen Bitcoin Cash do this repeatedly over and over. We have these big pullbacks to the fast line, then it bounces up. Pull back to the fast line, bounces up. So this is, again, the reason why I have confidence to say stuff like this is because of the slow line right here. See how it's starting to curl up? I want this to be like Bitcoin. I want this to be like Ethereum. But we don't see that same bullish energy like we've seen for Bitcoin Cash. So this remains a great chart to trade. And yes, it has breakouts on the daily. On the 4-hour time frame, you might remember this. We had TBO breakouts and a pullback with a close long, and then it popped higher. TBO breakouts, pullback with a TBO close long, and now we're watching it pop higher. There's basically a resistance here at 526 from the current price That's a move up here about 7%. So it's interesting. XRP still has a valid TBO close short set on Wednesday. And we saw a slight return back to the fast line, but not really enough to go, okay, there it is. Like we want a smack or like a tag of the fast line like that. We're not seeing it just yet, but it'll come. Litecoin, unfortunately, it got rejected from resistance, but this move is good, to be honest, because we're not making a lower low. We're actually making bullish structure. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Hopefully this is the higher low. And because we printed a TBO close short right here on Wednesday, now we actually got our tag right there. Let me turn this around because this is a little bit annoying. There we go. We got our tag of the TBO fast line. So that's the entry. We don't enter on max euphoria, just like for a closed long, we don't enter on max fear. So I'm still waiting for Litecoin to move up higher. Best of all, this move showed a lot of volume, which is exciting, almost 4 times the average. Now, this selling was not disastrous in any way or shape or form because it's still inside of the cloud. It's actually in bullish consolidation mode. I am expecting Litecoin to move above $89 and to go back up here to test this line at least by next week. I don't know about over the weekend, but it is coming. Ethereum Classic, this one fell back to the TBO fast line. That's the expected behavior after printing one of these guys. Beam, this one has not yet traced back after printing a TBO close short on Thursday, but I do expect it to happen. But the best part is that it's still inside of the cloud. It's a really good sign. It's a sign of bullish consolidation, just like DYDX. Mana did not stay inside the cloud, but it retraced back to the fast line, and reserve rights retraced back to the fast line. So staying inside of the TBO cloud like this is really good. It's the same thing as if you've ever used the Ichimoku cloud. It's similar to the TBO, not the same. But there are moments where using this is really, really helpful, especially if you have experience using it. So like Bitcoin Cash, when it's above the cloud right here, even this one, the short term, and then this is the projected, the future cloud. When it's above the cloud like this, it's a great looking chart. It's strong bullish, especially with the lagging span, the Chikou. If this is moving up, this is great. So again, in a similar way, the TBO helps us to gauge the strength of the trend and where things are and how things are looking. But one thing that's unique to it is that whenever the price goes inside of it after being super strong bearish, which means it's below the cloud, when it flips inside, this is now a converted mode, where now the price is in it's in bullish consolidation mode. And consolidation is just a fancy schmancy trading word for sideways price drop. But the sideways price drop is going up to the top of the cloud, somewhere up in here. And that's where it's headed next. All right, let's talk about our bullish looking charts. Bonk looked great yesterday. It continues to move up higher and higher, probably thanks to bonk.fun. I believe all that hype that's going around those meme coins and stuff. Say is still looking good. It is almost retraced back to the fast line. So close, but I still expect it to do a TBO springboard bounce. It might not touch it. Sometimes that does happen, but this is a pretty good pullback. One thing that is positive about this too is that the close yesterday, Friday the 4th, and today it's open, is just above this one. That's actually a positive sign. I really don't like seeing this pierce this cloud, and the fact that it's starting to curl up as well and everything is separating, all 4 lines are starting to slowly move up, is a good sign. Obviously, volume needs to increase a whole lot more because it's still quite bearish, but it is having a pullback. It did lose interest. Now it needs to push above historical resistance right here at about 26, 28. And then, of course, the target is going to be right below here, so at about 30.66. Hex still has a valid TBT bullish divergence signal. Now the slow line is kind of sort of pointing down, but it's not like strong bearish. So I am expecting Hex to actually pivot from here. This could be the pivot low, just like we saw these be the pivot low. And then we saw Hex move up. Come on, computer, about 100%. Now for some not so bullish news, Kaya, which has been a great chart for trading, it did have a pullback to the fast line. It did not bounce yet. And it did fall a little bit lower yesterday, down to the 382. But more importantly, it printed a TBO close long, that blue diamond right there. That is a warning sign letting you know that if you're in a long position from the open long, which is the candle after, and you haven't taken any profit yet, This is letting you know, don't take profit here on the panic, but take profit on the bounce back to the TBO fast line. So just so you know, I am going to be taking some more out of my position on Kaya once it pops back up here to 1653. Sure, I would love for it to go higher, but let's be real, volume has fallen off like the cliff completely. RSI fallen down a lot. On balance volume, the moving average is still moving up, but we're starting to see a bearish cross down. And of course, seeing this is not a bullish sign. Now, some charts to just keep in mind. SUI had a pretty nasty pullback yesterday, wick to wick. 12% is a big move. We got faked out on our bullish cross up, or cross above the moving average there. But look at RSI moving up. It's positive. Volume did not exceed the moving average, and it is still hanging on a literal thread. But because it closed inside of the TBO cloud, it is still in bullish consolidation mode. This is a positive place to be. It's a good thing for this chart, and it means that we can actually see it go up to the top of the cloud. It needs to get as far away from this line as it possibly can. It just needs to get away because that is a very dangerous place for it to be. All right, let's keep going. WIF. WIF did test overhead resistance on Thursday. Yesterday, not so much, and it fell back inside of the cloud. But look, we're seeing, again, good structure. Higher lows, higher highs. I think that WIF is actually going to break above resistance, maybe even today, maybe even over the weekend. Keep an eye on it. Akash network on Coinbase is starting to actually push up into the TBO cloud. Yesterday's volume was surprisingly good, and it pierced the cloud, even though it's still strong bearish below the cloud and the slow line's basically macro bearish. Look at on balance volume. Had a really bullish cross above, and it's starting, look at that. And it's starting to curl up, telling me that there is momentum building here. And we kind of have a nice little reversal pattern happening. I'm going to keep an eye on that. AMP had a great pump yesterday. Check this out. Yesterday's volume, 2.4 million, where the average is 625,000. So 4 times the average, which is amazing. And it closed inside the cloud, and it had a nice pump. Now, because it pumped, it might have a little bit of a retrace, but it is worth paying attention to charts like this, especially that just pump over and over. Helium, HNT, this one is still on my watch list. I'm still watching this and expecting it to pop to the top side. It's going to take some time, but I'm still waiting on this because it keeps consolidating in this range. I think it's going to go higher. Kava, this one just flashed a very dangerous signal yesterday. It's one I haven't talked about in a while, mainly because, well, nothing's been happening until now, but it pierced support. And this support level is quite significant. It's long-term support that got tested here, but piercing it is not good. It's not a good sign for Kava. So be careful, and it is starting to trend bearish. Ron, this one had a really exciting pump on Thursday with massive volume. Yesterday's volume exceeded the moving average, but not wildly so. Probably just a pump and dump. But look what happened. The price closed inside of the daily TBO cloud. And we saw a really good show of support at this historical support level for Ron. So that is exciting. SPX 6900. This one had a really nice pump at the start of the day, but this is just Ethereum. There's a lot more slippage on Ethereum or ETH. You're happy now? ETH. I'm going to just say ETH all the time. Sounds like I have Tourette's or something. ETH. So I am sorry to everyone that has Tourette's. ETH. So there's a nice little pop up right here, but this isn't really happening on other exchanges. Like if I go to SPX on Bybit, we did not get that pump at all. So, and there are also different sized wicks. So I understand, yeah, it might not be a real actual test because we need to know where the most volume is. And it's still kind of a whippy chart. But the thing that we need to keep an eye on is the slow line. The slow line tells us the macro trend. Look at what's happening ever since Tuesday. See how it's starting to curl upward? It could still go down. It's still kind of wavy. We're not seeing volume overwhelming the moving average, but the last 3 days of volume has actually been good. Now, I do believe that SPX 6900 has the potential to go up higher, to hit our resistance level here at about $1.50 and go higher. But it's going to take some more bullish energy in order for that to happen. And I don't know how it's going to happen. But I think that there's a big crowd and a big community behind it. So I think with that in mind, it is possible. So you guys, I hope that you all have a fantastic 4th of July. Take advantage of our 4th of July sale, saving up to $750 off of our advanced courses. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.